In a quiet corner of ancient India, a young man named Sundaka was once troubled by a relentless inner turmoil. Born into a royal family, he had wealth, power, and a promising future. Yet, the moment he encountered the teachings of the Buddha, something deep inside him changed. Sundaka, overcome by a profound sense of spiritual awakening, chose to leave behind his privileged life and take up the path of a monk. He embarked on a journey of discipline, meditation, and self-discovery. But despite his best efforts, Sundaka was unable to find peace. Each day, he meditated with dedication, his body and mind working tirelessly towards enlightenment. Yet, despite his commitment, he was haunted by the feeling that he was lagging behind other monks on the same journey. The more he observed their progress, the more he doubted his own. His heart was filled with anxiety, and a sense of failure gripped him. One day, he approached the Buddha and expressed his anguish. "Master, I strive with all my might, but my heart remains restless. Despite my constant practice, I feel far from reaching enlightenment. Others seem to be making progress, yet I remain stuck. What am I doing wrong?" he asked. The Buddha listened patiently, and after a long silence, he spoke gently. "Sundaka, your struggle is one that many face on the path to enlightenment. But remember, the path is not one of competition with others. True progress does not lie in comparing yourself to others, but in understanding your own heart and following the right path." The Buddha went on to share a lesson on the middle way. "Consider a musical instrument, Sundaka," he said. "If the strings are too loose, no sound is produced. If they're too tight, they will snap. It is the perfect balance, the middle tension, that produces the sweetest sound." The same is true in life. If you overexert yourself or neglect your practice, you will find no peace. But if you find the balance, you will discover tranquility. Sundaka was struck by the simplicity and depth of the Buddha's words. However, even as he tried to implement this lesson in his own practice, the struggle continued. He found himself obsessively trying to maintain the perfect balance in everything he did. In his meditation, he was constantly unsure if he was going deep enough or if he should back off. Every meal, every moment of rest, became a source of anxiety as he tried to control every aspect of his life in the name of balance. The more Sundaka tried to control his life, the more turbulent his mind became. He found himself trapped in an endless cycle of worry and self-criticism. Each time he tried to find peace, his very efforts seemed to make the storm within him worse. The harder he tried to balance his thoughts, the more they wavered. His efforts to control everything only led to a deeper sense of unease. One day, after much frustration, Sundaka could not bear it any longer. He decided to leave the monastery and wander into the forest, hoping to find clarity. In the midst of the forest, alone and confused, he thought deeply about the Buddha's words. He recalled the lesson of the middle way, the balance between extremes. Yet, at that moment, the idea of balance itself seemed to be his greatest burden. In the stillness of the forest, he sat down to meditate. As he tried to quiet his mind, he realized something profound. His effort to force balance had become an extreme in itself. By trying to control the very essence of his being, he had fallen into the trap of attachment. The idea of balance had become just another form of striving, just another way to create inner conflict. He realized that true peace was not in trying to control his thoughts, nor in forcing balance. True peace came from letting go of the constant struggle. He could not find peace by fighting against his own nature. Peace was something to be embraced, not something to be sought after with force. As Sundaka sat in the forest, he allowed his thoughts to flow naturally, without interference. He stopped trying to control them and simply observed them as they came and went. For the first time, he experienced a sense of calm that was not born from effort but from surrender. In that moment, he understood the true meaning of the middle way. It was not about striving for a perfect balance or maintaining control over every aspect of life. It was about letting go of attachment to outcomes, surrendering to the natural flow of life, and trusting that everything, in its own time, would unfold as it should. Sundaka returned to the Buddha and shared his realization. Master, he said, I have finally understood the middle way. It is not about trying to control everything or forcing balance. It is about letting go of my attachments and allowing life to unfold naturally. I no longer seek peace by fighting against my thoughts or by striving for perfection. I accept the ebb and flow of my emotions, and in that acceptance, I find peace. The Buddha smiled warmly. Sundaka, you have found the heart of the middle way. True balance comes not from control, but from surrender. When you let go of your attachment to outcomes and embrace the flow of life, you will find true peace. With this newfound understanding, Sundaka continued his journey. He no longer sought to force balance or perfection. Instead, he lived with a quiet awareness, allowing each moment to unfold naturally. He meditated without the expectation of success, ate without the pressure of moderation, and slept without the need for control. His mind, once turbulent, became calm and serene. In his acceptance of life's natural rhythms, he found a peace that had always eluded him. This story of Sundaka teaches us a valuable lesson about life. Often, we find ourselves trapped in the extremes, either pushing ourselves too hard or giving up altogether. But the middle way teaches us that true peace comes not from avoiding the extremes, but from embracing the natural flow of life. It's about letting go of the need to control and allowing life to unfold as it will. In our own lives, we can often find ourselves caught in a similar struggle, whether it's striving for success, battling with our emotions, or fighting against the challenges we face. We often feel that if we push just a little harder, we will achieve peace or success. But like Sundaka, we may find that the harder we push, the more we are pushed back. Instead, we can practice the middle way by letting go of the attachment to outcomes, by accepting the natural flow of our thoughts and emotions, and by trusting that in time, everything will come together. We can stop striving for perfection and begin to embrace our imperfections. In doing so, we will find a deep sense of peace, not in the avoidance of difficulty, but in the acceptance of life as it is. So, the next time you find yourself struggling to achieve balance or perfection, remember the lesson of the middle way. Let go of the need to control, and instead allow life to unfold naturally. Trust in the rhythm of life, and in doing so, you will find the peace you seek. Thank you for watching, and may your life be filled with peace, balance, and the natural flow of the middle way.